We would be rooting for Shadow to stay in the ditch. Welcome back. Let's take a walk with a very somber movie.
My Dog Skip.
Head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and you will find that the audience gave My Dog Skip 68%. And in a very rare turn of events, the critics were a little bit more right here. They gave it 73%. We're going to go ahead and roast them. Sean Levy from Oregonian says, although it's light, it's never quite illuminating. It's a movie about a boy and a dog. How illuminating do you expect this to get? What life lessons were you hoping to learn in this movie? You want to hear an illuminating story? I'll tell you. I'll tell you an illuminating story. My dog, a basset hound, her name was Tilly. This was around the time my grandpa had a stroke and he was in the hospital. We had one of those gates. It was just, the bars. And Tilly would often be, curious about what's on the other side of the fence. She would stick her head in the between the bars and she would get stuck. In the mornings, sometimes we'd wake up and we'd find that she's stuck again. So we'd have to, turn her head and pry her out. One morning I woke up. I saw my family at the table and they were looking at me kind of sad. And I said, what's going on? And they said, well, take a look at Tilly. She's a basset hound. They already have long ears. So I turn and look out the window at Tilly walking around the backyard. A giant bandage dragging behind her that's wrapped around her ear. I said, well, what happened? I'm a deep sleeper. Apparently my parents heard Tilly. She was an outside dog. I know that's completely brutal. I would never do that today. But she was screaming her head off apparently. Just screaming. So my parents get up, run out, and they find just trails of blood all over the backyard. And Tilly is cowering in the corner. Just blood all over her face. So they pick her up, they carry her inside, they're trying, so it's like 1993, they don't have 24-hour veterinarians, and so they bring her, they put her in the sink and they're washing her up and they find out that the blood is coming from the ear. They don't know what else to do. I guess they grabbed some gauze and just patched it on there and then they held it on with like a whole bunch of tape. So they Gene Hackman'd her ear, right? Is that too soon? So they mummified her ear. And so it was a mystery for a while as to what had happened. So later that day, my mom took the trash out and had to walk along the outside of the fence. And I was on the other side of the yard feeding Tilly. And I'll never forget, I heard her just scream at the top of her lungs. She drops the trash, it scatters everywhere. And I go, dude, what's wrong? I ran over and she's just bawling. And she's pointing at the ground, and all I see is just trash scattered. But then I see where there's blood pooled up, and it's just a flop of Tilly's ear just sitting on the asphalt on the other side of the fence. Apparently, a bobcat or an owl or something picked her up and was trying to, have a meal out of her, and was just able, and she was too heavy, and just ripped a chunk of her ear off and either flew or jumped over the fence and thought, you know what, this piece of ear is not enough to sustain me, dropped it and ran off. So then you gotta make a joke out of everything, no matter how horrible the situation. We took that slice of ear and we put it in a get well card and gave it to my grandpa, who was recovering in the hospital. He was a farmer, so we said we thought he'd enjoy an ear of corn. Is that a true story? I guess you'll never know. But it was illuminating. I guess that should make Sean Levy very happy. And yes, it's true that Tilly would walk with her head tilted because one ear ended up being heavier than the other. And then she just walking in circles. Eric Lero from Greenwich Village Gazette says, this might well be worth a rental for the kids when it comes out on video, but it's a bit too literary despite the wonderful cinematography. Aw, crap! Wax is too poetic. So frustrating! I don't want my kids to learn! Yeah, I bet Eric burned all of his books before bringing his newborn child home. They're in the waiting room for his kid's checkup, and his kid grabs a highlights magazine, and Eric just freaks out. just, oh my gosh, rips it out of his hand, says, no books for you, nothing literary for my child. I bet he doesn't let his child watch anything based off of a book. Poor kid is missing out on How to Train Your Dragon, Oliver and Company, Shrek. Keep him away from all those classic Disney movies who don't want to expose him to the opening book at the beginning of the film. Roast the critics. Ty Burr from Entertainment Weekly says, the Jack Russell playing Skip, oh, he's so cute. His name is Moose. So my dog Moose. I guess that didn't go well. The dog, Skip, he's allowed to mug La Fraser's Eddie instead of behaving like an actual canine. So yeah, that is the dog. That's Moose from Frasier. But here's the truth. If they just got a dog that just acted like a regular dog, nobody would really care. Dogs are like kids. I like my own, but I don't want to be around yours. No, I don't even like you. Your dog is ugly. Your dog is as ugly as your kids are. They're probably carrying just as many diseases. Their paws are sticky as your kids. I don't want to have anything to do with your regular, normal, everyday dog. So you have to humanize these dogs in these movies for them to work. But that's what Ty Burr is complaining about. He's complaining about a science that actually works in the entertainment industry. Imagine watching Homeward Bound and Shadow and Chance. They have no voices. There's some more narration, I guess. And they keep disobeying the trainer and they're, going off cue and wandering off camera. That would not make for an enticing film. We would be rooting for Shadow to stay in the ditch. Give up, Shadow. You're just a stupid normal everyday dog. We have enough of you. But because he's humanized, we want him to get out of the ditch and to find his way home. Cut. Kevin Maynard from Mr. Showbiz says, it makes you cry, but not because you've seen something worthy of your tears. So then, why else would I cry? Why was Kevin crying if it wasn't because of the dog's death? Even the part where the kid slaps him, that's really sad too. Was there a bee in the room? A bee in the bonnet while you're watching this film? Was your wife sitting at the other end of the couch making fun of your tiny peepee? I'm not saying that's what happened to me. I'm just wondering, in general, is that something that was happening to Kevin as well? Moving on. The most honest review for My Dog Skip goes to Edward Johnson Ott from Nouveau News Weekly. Says, despite its many problems, I still enjoyed My Dog Skip, thanks almost completely to the considerable charm of Frankie Muniz and the various canines playing Skip. Leave your comment, what's the saddest movie you've ever seen, and I will see you in the next film. Is your wife sitting at the other end of the couch making fun of your tiny pee-pee? It's like saying the Lego movie is about... that's a bad example. It's like saying Barbie. Dang it. It's like saying Titanic is just about a big... Got it. All right. It's like saying Gone with the Wind is about a man lost in a hurricane. Boom. Did it. Did it.